Well, good Saturday afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Before we get any further, I want to say, wow, things happen in life that you will always remember where you were, and I will forever remember September 11th. And with that being said, thoughts and prayers to everybody who was touched by that day and the 20 years that have preceded it, because everybody, and I mean everybody as a country, was touched. And I will say, I miss when all of us as a country came together and worked together for the common good, and hope that we can do that again. In the meantime and in between time, you do your thing and I'll do mine. And mine is introducing, of course, my great panel here, D2 Stu, a.k.a. Mr. Wolf. What's up, Mr. Wolf?
Doing good, Mark. Doing good. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. The NFL season is here. I've got two dogs here at my feet. You know, they're looking because I was eating the sub. I was eating the sub and hoping that I wasn't going to pull a Jason Garrett and throw out that sub before I came on here. And, of course, the dogs are like, you going to finish that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to finish that. Now, moving on. And
your
Roz,
pups eat good off the floor.
And Roz, what's up?
How you doing?
I am doing, and I'm doing pretty well right now. I'm going to actually change I'm going to try something a little different here. You know how we roll here. Sometimes we kind of mess things up here. So let's see how that view. Fans, let me know if you like that view better up there without the ambiance of the set, or if we should go through and go back to the other one.
Yeah. Kind of jumping back in here real quick. I just want to touch on what you said about 9/11. We all have memories of that day, and my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, especially the people that lost their lives that day and the families attached to them.
Amen on that one. I remember being in my house in Woodbridge with a friend of mine, Jim, who was working for me. Jim had actually died from cancer. And just being there, and we were meeting about some projects that we were going to do. And I remember hearing the reports that a plane had hit the World Trade Center. In my mind, the vision was, some like Piper Cub, accidentally clipped into it, no big deal. And then they started cutting in and showing footage of the building on fire. And, we're watching that kind of in disbelief. And then it was the second plane that came in, and you saw that live on TV, and it was just like, this shit's real. And then going to school and getting Michael and Michaela, who were little kids at the time, and bringing them home, and then hearing about the Pentagon. And, we could see the smoke from the Pentagon from my house. That was literally when the world was kind of going crazy.
That whole day was... You didn't know what was going to happen next, or if anything was going to happen next.
Yeah, you really thought the world was coming to an end that day. Roz, I know definitely it touched you. You were one of the soldiers that was over there defending our country in Afghanistan and things. So thank you for everything that you've done. And I know you wanted to touch on this.
Well, I think you guys have touched on enough. The one thing I can say, add to this, it's actually my shirt that I wear today, among others, but down at the bottom there, never forget. Now, this is particularly soldiers. There was fire, police. There were regular civilians that day. Put their lives on the line to get anybody and everybody out that we could. And there's even family that had to carry out family.
Yeah.
I think you guys have said enough, and it's just a don't forget. That's really what matters here.
Amen on that. Let me give a shout out to some of the great fans that have tuned in. Tay Cowboys, what's up, Tay? I know Tay's up in here. I know Roland Review is up in here. What's up, Roland? What's up?
Don't forget Eastside Harold.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
How you doing, Eastside? Eastside. What's up? And I see Juan. What's up, Juan? Marco and everybody else. How are you doing? It is week 1 in the NFL. Oh, my God. Cowboys were close, man. We were so freaking close. You know, I feel like we were hosed. Am I crazy?
It was a hell of a game, and it's hard not to feel that way. I mean, we did it to ourselves with putting Zerline out there before he was ready, and that call at the end of the game where I don't care what anybody says, you can see Godwin pushing off on the Jordan. And
but
how we didn't get that call, I don't know. But
there's another.
It was not a push.
We played a hell of a game regardless of what you feel about that call.
Then I tell you what then, bros. Okay, I have no problem if you say that wasn't a push. But then y'all need to carry your ass back to the Rams game the year before. Because that same kind of call, the Rams got. Jalen Ramsey gets the Academy Award for, he had literally locked up Michael Gallup's arm, okay? Here it is, 31 seconds to go, okay? Cowboys got the ball, down by 3 points, okay? Cowboys had the ball on 30-yard line. Dak Prescott, boom, rainbows it there. Michael Gallup makes the catch. First down on the 16-yard line, and here it is. Trust me, if you're saying that wasn't, then that certainly wasn't, and that ends up being going into overtime. So that's some bullshit. But I'll give you another one here, because if you think about before halftime, and you can call me a whiny little bitch that I'm just trying to make excuses and shit, but I'm not. I see you laughing. But think about Levante David. Cowboys are driving just before the half, right? They ended up settling for a field goal. But nobody's really talking about this. But Levante Davis takes his helmet off and slams it
on the ground.
Slams it on the ground. It bounces back up, and then he's walking around without his helmet off.
Which is a penalty.
That is thank you. And you know what? That gives the Cowboys first down right there in range to possibly get a touchdown instead of a field goal. How is it we don't get that call?
Oh.
How many times have the Saints not made it to the playoffs? I didn't say it wasn't a push. What I said was, not a catch. Now we got not a push, right?
I was about to say we do got Mr. Not a Catch over there too. But regardless of how you feel about what we didn't get from penalties in that game, we could have had that game if Zerline makes those kicks. We didn't. We lost. So we go on the next week, but we go on the next week and we know Dak Prescott is good. His ankle's good. His shoulder's fine. Shit, he threw, 700 times in that game.
Yeah.
Did you watch my TikTok? Did you watch my stats?
Most 400-yard games since 2020.
You do a lot of them. It's hard to keep up, man. It's hard.
The Dak one. What Stu just said, that's the one.
The most 400-yard games since 2020 belong to one Mr. Dak Prescott.
Say that number again.
Since last season began, nobody has thrown more 400-yard games.
Yeah.
Than Dak Prescott.
Which is amazing because he's only played in 6 games.
Sir?
He is on pace right now for 6,850 yards.
Yeah. Which would shatter the record by about 1,300 yards. Okay? But, of course, that's garbage time. It's garbage time, man. Those yards don't count, man.
One of the funnier things I've been saying is people that just want to talk crap to talk crap. Oh, your defense is trash. Your defense is trash. But they tout Tampa Bay's defense as
Tampa Bay's defense gave up more yardage.
And last I checked, we only lost by 2. So if our defense was trash in their game, what was Tampa Bay's defense in that game?
Here's the new thing they'll say. Yeah, but it was because you got turnovers that was the reason why you were in it. It wasn't your defense. It's just like magically, But here's where I can go through. And this is where I swear Tom Brady has sold his soul to the devil. When Tom Brady, you remember he got hit, hand out here, The ball gets swiped. Somehow his hand is like literally, it almost looked like it was, the rubber man where his arm is just kind of like flopping around, and somehow he doesn't drop it. That should have been any other quarterback, they fumble that football. It's a recovery back there. Boom, you go out on a route. But Tom Brady is he's got to be an alien or something. That shit is not even freaking human.
Armstrong, he did everything. He was there.
And that's the kind of thing that you look at and say, oh, well, you got turnovers and stuff. Well, you got turnovers. Well, okay, you can flip that around and say Michael Gallup's tip up in the air, I've got people that are – it kind of ticked me off last night on my live stream because I had a person who came in, and I'm not even going to justify it with the name because, of course, then they'll continue to do it. But they came in, the Cowboys, they're 1-4 in the red zone and everything else. They suck. Dak can't get them in the get them touchdowns and this, that. And I'm sitting here kind of like, okay, you got a point about that. We were settling for field goals and stuff, but, we did have 3 touchdown passes there, right? So it wasn't like we weren't getting touchdowns in there. But be that as it may, I'm kind of like, well, what about the non-calls? What about, the fact that Tom Brady is like lighting them up? What about Anthony Brown literally getting toasted all night? What about the interception of CeeDee Lamb? All of these other things they just ignore, and they say, oh, well, that can't get him in the end zone. It's like, seriously? Are y'all really that blinded? On a night where you had, 60 yards running the football? You're going to point and say, oh, it's Dak's fault. I don't know what quarterback could have done anything more than what he did last night or Thursday night. Can you name anybody who could have done more than that? Who? You're going to say Aaron Rodgers. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
No, what I was going to say is we do have to acknowledge that he's not yet fully comfortable running.
Oh, definitely. He didn't look. I'll be honest. He did not look like he's 100.
So there were a couple opportunities that could have helped the team.
Yeah.
Had he been better running or just more. It's almost like it was psychological because his body was moving.
He was thinking about it, and it was kind of like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Yeah, that was one of those ones. And see, football. If you never played football, the thing about football is you do not have time to think. Everything has to be reaction. This is how I don't even understand how they can play football at the level they do without as much practice and repetitions, because basically you end up seeing something, you don't think about it, you just react to it. And it looked like Dak was reacting to it. I got to run, but then it's like, wait a minute, don't run. You're not supposed to run so much. You're just coming back and being unsure.
Right.
You are 100% right on that.
And that was the hiccup. So you say, is there any quarterback that could have done more? What I'll say is that he didn't give everything because he was a little bit psychologically held back on his own.
Okay, let's
now, just real quick before you guys go, Dallas psycho on me. When I say that,
I'm about to do that.
What those little runs might have been or those extra scrambles might have been may not have had a difference in the game. Because he threw the ball so well that you may have ended up with the same result. Okay, but what I'm saying is he could have done a little more had he been a little bit physically or psychologically more comfortable.
With every game, he'll get more and more comfortable with that ankle and
yes,
get better.
I mean, look, Teddy Bridgewater's still out there. He's coming back from stuff over the years. It's taken him a few years. If you guys need a quarterback,
I'm happy with what I saw. It sucks that we lost, but it is what it is, and we move on to Los Angeles next week.
Yeah, it is.
We know a loss is never really a good thing, I guess, but if there is silver lining in it, we know we can go toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl champs. But we also know we got a lot of shit to work on, and we're hopefully going to do that as the season continues, game by game, get better and better. Defense gels, gets better and better. Get Collins back in 5 games. Dumbass.
All right.
I'm looking forward to this season. We can send
before we move on here for 1 second here, okay? I've got a mic, and I'm going to drop this mother humper.
Oh.
Okay? I want to point out something to you guys because people will say Dak Prescott, oh, man, he's not a real quarterback, man. He sucks, man. You know what? He ended up not doing enough to win this game. And then even you, Roz, just said, well, maybe he could have run the ball a little bit more here and willed that team to win, right? Right? Let's go back to the game before that Tampa Bay had and the guy they were facing. Patrick Mahomes. You know what Patrick Mahomes did against that same defense the game before? Do you? Do you know?
Not a goddamn thing. Nothing.
The final score was 31-9. Pat Mahomes, 26 out of 49 passes. He didn't throw for 403 yards. He threw for 270. You know how many touchdown passes he had? 0. He at least had a semblance of a running game. Edwards had 9 carries for 64 yards, which was more collectively, including Dak Prescott running the football. So when people say, oh, Dak didn't do enough, he did a hell of a lot more than Pat Mahomes did against that same defense.
I hope you caught that.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying, anybody out there that's saying, get somebody else, that's what Pat Mahomes, the highest paid quarterback, the guy that everybody says is above and beyond everybody else. And they'll say, oh, well,
I don't know that anybody's saying get somebody else. I think we're just saying that.
No, listen to me. We got Cowboy fans that say, oh, just like, oh, well, Dak wasn't good enough in the red zone. Well, you know what? At least Dak got him in the red zone, okay? Because guess what? Pat Mahomes didn't get a damn touchdown against that defense. Pat freaking Mahomes didn't do shit against them, okay?
Mark, can I add some icing to the cake on that?
Go ahead.
Touch on one last subject before we jump off of that game. Mm-hmm. And I know it's driving you nuts too because you understand the game of football. But one of your things is you hate fantasy football because blank. Trades, all this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
We talk to you all the time about your football knowledge actually translates to fantasy football. And I just want you to understand that you're not wrong in the things that you say about quote unquote fantasy football, but it's the type of player in my mind that you're talking about. You've got your casual fans that show up, watch football, don't really know a lot about it.
Oh my
God. You got your fantasy football guys. Some of them don't even watch that many games. They just literally go off of what projections say. And that can get you so far. But the less context you have,
yes,
the worse it really is. Mm-hmm. Zeke Elliott being the elephant in the room.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
I'm going to put screen share up here.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't click that. Let me.
My guy, Smitty, with the Fantasy Football Show, we'll have him on at some point during the season. I just got to work out with him when that's going to be. I was going through Twitter this morning, and I saw this graphic.
Okay. What graphic?
Everybody, not my emails.
Okay.
Everybody that is freaking out about Zeke, whether a Cowboys fan or a fantasy football owner. Mark, you want to go ahead and run down that list of running backs and what they did last year versus that Tampa Bay defense?
Alvin Kamara, 12 carries, 16 yards. Kevin McCaffrey, 18 carries, 59 yards. Gordon, 8 carries, 26 yards. Entire team for the Chargers, 23 carries, 46 yards. Montgomery from the Bears, 10 carries, 29 yards. Jones, 10 carries, 15 yards. Jacobs, 10 carries, 17 yards. Gallman, 44 yards on 12 carries. Kamara again, 9 carries, 40 yards. Davis, 7 carries, 32 yards. Entire team, 20 carries, 37 yards. Okay, we got the point. Nobody's had more than – okay, Dalvin Cook had the most. Week 14, 22 carries, 102 yards. Other than that, nobody even got to 50 yards.
Right.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know the game, Zeke wasn't being asked to run the ball and take the game over last night.
Right.
Zeke was being asked to get in there on max protect and keep our quarterback clean. You don't run well on the Tampa Bay defense.
Can you send that to me too, buddy? I actually like to. That's great work by the fantasy show. But send that screenshot to me, man. I'd like to have.
I sent it to our group text.
Okay, cool beans.
But yeah, that's everybody panicking about Zeke. The game plan wasn't for Zeke to run and take the game over. Zeke was there to protect Dak, and they were going to attack Tampa Bay through the air. Plus, Tampa Bay wasn't going to let Zeke run. So Kellen Moore called the best game he could, and he put us in a position to win with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Dak Prescott.
Well, and I this morning I was getting my wife's car inspected, and I was talking about that game felt like deja vu. And this is, when I talked about the pass interference no call, and we got the call, it's kind of like we've been on both sides of the fence on this. Because if you look back, think about the only victory that Kirk Cousins has had against Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, I believe it was 2019. Dak threw for 397 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interceptions. Kirk Cousins had 2 TDs, an interception, 220 yards, something like that. But it came down to we could not run the football all day long. Zeke ended up with 47 yards. And here it is. All of our yards, the points, and everything are coming through Dak's arm. We got a chance to take the lead. And, of course, we had a kicker that missed a field goal. Money Maher missed a field goal. And had he made that field goal, all we would have needed was a field goal to win the game. But we needed a touchdown. And even though in that game we could not run the ball, we got down there in the red zone, and Jason Garrett calls 2 running plays that go nowhere. And after that, it ended up being desperation time. We threw a screen out to Zeke, and then 4th down, incompletion, turn over the ball, lose the game. And that was one of those ones you looked at and said, my God, running the football is not working today. You can't do it. Stick with the pass. Why did you go back to running the football? And now it's the reverse of it. The pass was working. You were moving the football. Had you not had CeeDee Lamb, with the tip up early, and I still think that's some of the lingering effects of COVID, you go with what's working. And as you just pointed out, ain't nobody having success running the football. I mean, you might as well just run into a brick wall because that's what the Tampa Bay's front line is. Vita Vea was an absolute man-child throwing people left and right. You got Ndamukong Suh, who was quiet, but he's still holding it down that fort. You got JPP and Levante. You're not running on that. And so you keep hearing all these people, Zeke is done, man. Somebody actually said we should trade him for a cornerback. I'm kind of like, dude, did you see the blocks that he was making? If it wasn't for Zeke Elliott doing those blocks in there, that quarterback may not be upright right now. He would have been carried off in a stretcher.
You got anything else to say about the game, Corey? You want to touch on the Zeke issue?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
I think the game's been broken down enough for the last several days. I really have nothing else to add.
I think what you're saying is you're sick of this shit.
Yeah.
Well, okay. All right. You know what? For fantasy purposes, I guess we should talk about the fact that while that graphic is beautiful,
yeah,
what that graphic fails to do is it fails to show you the truth of the matter, and that is while Zeke was on the field for 82% of his reps,
yeah,
those reps were pass blocking, and most of those teams last year were doing similar things because it is a copycat league, and the one way to slow down that defense is to ensure that they have to worry about your passing game.
Yep.
So, while I give credit to the graphic itself does not match the statistics of the season. So it's more just to show that you don't start your running backs against Tampa. Okay, That's not on the defense. That's on the way the offensive schemes were played out. Okay. But again, I have nothing more to say. It's been broken down enough.
All right, well, let me ask something like here, okay? I was told how much of an amateur I am when it comes to fantasy football because I made this comment. Stu, you sent me.
What?
Well, Stu, you sent me like what the points were, with from the game during the game. You know, Dak, of course, is having a pretty good game and all that, and I was like, oh, look at the points in there. And somebody said to me, you don't look at – nobody looks at their fantasy roster – their fantasy points on Thursday night. You're such an amateur. Okay, I'm an amateur. I'll be the first one to say that.
Nah, it's beginning of the season. You have fun with it however you have fun with it.
I'm actually looking at this right now because it's projected Dak Prescott 24 points, right?
Yep. But he scored 33.42. Why would you not check on how your team's doing? If you got guys playing at halftime and at the end of the game, you want to see what they did. Why would you not? Whoever said that to you is special.
What?
Look, there is something to be said for, and it is a kind of a veteran move to not constantly be staring at your scores.
No, I'm not staring at the game that I can, but at halftime and at the end of the game, which is when I sent Mark the screenshots.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
So what I was getting at was, you don't watch your scores because then if you have later games playing, you will sometimes second guess yourself and think, oh, I should switch this guy out because now I'm losing. When halfway through the game, adjustments can be made and all of a sudden you're winning.
Gotcha.
And those are mistakes that you make by watching. But for the first week of the year, you set your lineup, watch your games, enjoy if you're winning, and especially Thursday night. Hell yeah. Look, people put up like 50, 60 points off of that game alone. That is a hell of a lead heading into the weekend.
I want to say that's my team. Some of a couple of my teams, the team that doesn't have Dak, of course. Boy, that one didn't look so good. Yeah.
Hey, Troy Daniels took him with the first pick overall. I didn't have a chance to grab him.
Yeah.
Even if I hadn't missed the first round, we wouldn't have got him.
Couldn't have gotten, yeah. Okay, so, all right, me being the fantasy football kind of virgin here,
Yeah.
how late can you make changes on your roster?
All the way
Depends on this format.
Okay, today,
for our
tomorrow,
purposes with ESPN,
before
as
1
long
o'clock
as the game
kickoff?
hasn't started, you can change that player out.
Okay,
Right.
And
as long as
Sleeper
you're
is
changing it out
sleeper is
before I haven't
usually
played yet too, right?
15 minutes. Some sites are an hour.
Okay,
But back to the whole point of checking scores on Thursdays. I mean, Roz is perfectly correct. You don't. For me, I'm not looking at my stupid scores when I could be watching a game. I'm watching as much of the game as I can.
and I wouldn't have had you not sent it to me, quite frankly. But I was looking down, I was like, damn, I've got like 40 points already, and it's Thursday night. And I was like, is that good?
It's fun. We've got Dak Prescott. Why would we not want to see what that translates to at halftime? And
We have them in four of them.
everybody, at the end of the day, everybody plays fantasy different.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to look at your scores until the end of the game Sunday, good for you. But I'm checking my score at halftime and I'm checking my score at the end of the game. I don't care if you think I'm an amateur or not. I've been playing for 20 years. You want to call Mark an amateur? You're talking to me. I'm the one that sent him the screenshot, so relax. You do you, we'll do us.
I thought Dak was outside the box and should have been a tackle. Say what, Carolina Cowboy? 2 cents. You know what? 2 cents. I see you changed your profile there. 400 plus yards and you still lose. That's your standard?
Well, apparently 2 cents isn't here for fantasy football because you're damn right, 400 yards is a good standard.
There you go. All right. Okay. Got to be coaching. Well, actually, more than anything else, we're still stuck on the Cowboys. Of course, it's the Cowboys channel mainly. But if you look at that game, I look at it and I say your offense did enough to win. I look at it and say your defense did enough to win. They got 4 takeaways, okay? They didn't give up 50 points. They gave up a bunch of points, but, it was a shootout. You lost that game in your third phase in special teams because not only – and not just Greg Zuerlein missing those field goals and that extra point. We had the worst field position out there. Tampa Bay was getting great returns. They're getting the ball like on the 35-yard line to start their drives. We had 3 drives inside the 6-yard line. It's not a recipe to win games. It's not.
Credit to their punter. He was putting that
His
ball.
punter was doing it, but even our kick coverage was not good. Tampa Bay was constantly getting that ball out to about the 35-yard line. So that's one of those things that people will say, Dak lost to, he threw for 400 yards. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your special teams are giving the guys short fields to work with. It doesn't matter if your defense is just letting them go up and down the field on you. You cannot put all that onto one guy, and everybody will say, and I know Dak is like my son just about, okay, and I probably treat him that way. But in the grand scheme of things that I look at problems-wise for the Cowboys now winning games, Dak is not the worst offender out there. It's not. Not anywhere close.
I mean, we can kick that dead horse all day. It doesn't matter what Dak does. Dak could win MVP Player of the Year, or MVP and Comeback Player of the Year, and get a Super Bowl ring, and those people are still going to say Dak.
It was the defense turnaround, man. Dak was just a bus driver. He was just driving. Oh, look at all the talent he had. He's supposed to be winning that. That's what you get. But here's what I'll say, though. If that Dallas Cowboy team shows up against the Giants, who wins?
The Giants.
Wait, say what?
The Giants. The Cowboys. My bad.
Man, are you passing the Dutchie from the left and the right-hand side here or something?
I cannot confirm nor deny the presence of herbal therapy in my system, sir.
Okay, if that team shows up against the Philadelphia Eagles, who's winning?
Cowboys.
If that team shows up,
I'm going to shut up and let Roz answer these because we're homers. So let the unbiased party.
If that team shows up against the Washington football team, who wins?
I'll go ahead and answer, Stu.
You know my answer. I want you to say it.
So y'all going 17-0.
No.
I didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that. We've already lost.
Well, that's what you just said, your answer. So if you're winning every game, that's 16-1.
The Washington football team.
I said we're playing. Yes. I said if that team shows up against the Washington football team, who's winning? Are you telling me that Washington could, if the Cowboys played like they did, are you telling me that Ryan Fitzpatrick and that offense can keep up with them? I'll look at that defense and say, that defense right there played, I think, better than what Washington's played. I really believe that's a much better defense than Washington's got. And I'll say they got a hell of a lot better offense in Tampa Bay than they do in Washington.
For me, and I'll let Corey catch it, but for me, if we show up like we did against Tampa Bay, I'm not worried about the Eagles. I'm not worried about the Giants. The Washington football team would be one of the three that had a chance for me.
Why you look mad, man?
Because I keep talking when I'm asking him to talk. Go ahead, boss.
No, I'm not mad. Do I look mad?
You look mad.
Oh,
you look like you're coming through the screen.
I can't be mad. I've been, I'm chilling. I'm talking football. I'm listening to y'all mostly, but I mean, we're talking football. Like there ain't nothing to be mad about.
We want the unbiased.
If anything, it's me crinkling my eyes because I'm still working on the lighting in here. And when it's right in my eyes, I get kind of, I'm from Alaska. We don't like the light, right?
Midnight.
That might be it.
Okay. All right, let's go.
But look, so let me just throw it out there. If you played that game against anybody in the league, I would give you a shot to win.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but that said, we know week in and week out that same energy is different, especially after an entire offseason prepping for one game. The next game is going to be different.
True. Now, the good thing for the Cowboys is they're prepping for the next game while the other team is getting ready to go ahead and play against a tough defense.
You got an advantage there.
Okay, because they have to come all the way over here on the East Coast, fly all the way back home. Right now, the Cowboys have already been licking their wounds, gotten treatment and everything else. Who
y'all playing week 2?
The Chargers. And that'll be like a home game because there's so many damn Cowboy fans in California. And we know nobody in L.A. cares about the Chargers. They used to play in that soccer stadium and couldn't fill up a 35,000 seat stadium. They don't have a big fan base there. It's not like going to San Diego. So you can imagine.
Look, San Diego got butt hurt when they left.
Yeah, and they're just like, screw y'all. We're not going up to L.A. for that. It's too hot. and there's too much smog. Why would we leave here for L.A.? So they don't.
L.A. is nasty. Driving into L.A., hell, that
compared to San Diego, it's like, what were y'all thinking? It's like, I've been to both, and it's like, it's not any comparison to the two. I mean, but anyway, so you can see a lot of Cowboy fans at that one. So there's no home field advantage for San Diego, and to have to go from the West Coast back, back to the West Coast, and the Cowboys are having a couple extra days rest. That kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage, but they still have to play the game. Oh, here's Toby and his hating ass. Doesn't matter if it's a home game or not. Remember 2019 Cowboys versus Rams playoffs. Okay. Do I even
move on?
Moving right along. All right. So if you have some fantasy football questions going into this weekend, definitely leave them here in the chat. Just kind of ignore Toby and his hating ass, okay?
I am monitoring the chat for any questions if they come up.
Okay, you're just not bringing up the idiots.
To transition into fantasy, Roz, do you have some basic rules that you follow for week one that you want to put out there for anybody that's just kind of learning to play with us this year?
Yeah, that's a good way to kick it off. So I run a little differently with taking a break on Saturdays from everything football unless I'm watching college or this show. And that's because I spend literally every day, including game days, monitoring all the news wires and the scouting reports and the beat writers. So I'm inundated. But normally what you want to do is, kind of look at your players, who's got the good matchups or who's projected better points in the app or website you're using up until Friday, right? And then you wait until 5 p.m. Friday, and all of the injury reports have been updated in the websites, and now you know if your guy is actually hurt.
Okay.
So between 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern time on Friday through Saturday or Sunday morning, the game time, that's the time you get the chance, free for all, pick up, drop players, put guys on IR, shuffle around, whatever. Main thing you want to do is just kind of be aware. I mean, that's what it comes down to is your process through the week, however you do it. I will tell you that I check scores all the time because I can't watch every game during the games. So by checking scores, I can actually kind of track the game as it goes without being able to see it. Sometimes I'll be watching a game. I'll have on the computer ESPN with the game tracker on another game and my phone with another one so I can see game flow. But for me, it really comes down to watching game tape when it's over and getting the reports.
What's up, Jessica? How you doing tonight?
Real quick, though, I will throw out Sunday morning.
Yeah.
You have to make a decision of when you are done. Because if you spend all Sunday morning listening to your local radio program, the ESPN, or whatever's on TV, and you're listening to them say, oh, this guy's going to have a good game, or this points might actually go up, or, somebody's hurt, or the weather's bad, or if it's stuff that you don't already know or have looked at, you're probably a little too late, and you're going to second guess yourself, and you're going to make a mistake. So you pick a time, and for me, that time is always noon. Okay. At noon, I don't care what happens. I don't care if a dude gets hurt in pregame. I'm not touching my lineups.
All right. The Reaper asked, is David Montgomery good to start this week versus the Rams with Andy Dalton starting?
That's a good
You have no other choice.
Especially with Andy Dalton starting, they're going to lean on the running game a little bit more. If Andy can be better than he was last year, slightly, then Montgomery, you drafted him to play him. And to touch on what Ross was saying, I would say three things about week one, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus here, talk about, for context, I have over 20 leagues, but in one league, I really kind of broke a lot of my own rules in just one league. Trust your studs, don't get cute, and if it's a coin toss, go with the player playing the latest, like a Monday night game. Over 20 leagues. In one league, I have a belief, and I could be wildly wrong, but I have a belief that Gerald Everett, now not with the Rams, but in Seattle with Russell Wilson, I have a feeling he's going to be a thing this year, and I believe in that so much. On my rosters, in a one tight end league, I don't like carrying more than one tight end. So, damn, it really hurts when it sticks you like it did me. But I also the third rule should actually be don't let your fan sleeve get in the way too much. What I did in this one league, I got cute. I looked at Tampa Bay, and I said, O.J. Howard's back. Cameron Brate's there. They got the 3 wide receivers, Godwin, Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown. I like Rob Gronkowski, but I don't believe in him season long to be consistent because of all those mouths to feed. And I dropped Rob Gronkowski, who did what to us? Scored 2 touchdowns, and I'm still sick in my stomach for getting cute, not trusting my studs, and letting my fan card get in the way. I could have lived with benching him if that didn't play a factor in it, but I got cute. Don't do it. Trust your studs. Get cute. When you get cute, you make massive mistakes. Don't do it.
Now, those are all great points. But here's something I want to rewind to is a conversation Stu and I had on, I think, the last draft, JSR4. Just like when I said Amari Cooper is still the alpha over CD, right? At the end of this weekend, Amari is likely, we'll see, Chris Godwin too, likely going to be one of the top 12s coming out of this weekend. Same thing with David Montgomery talk. There's only 12 top 12s. Okay, so when we talk about fantasy and we say studs, the studs are the guys we expect to get the ball every single time. It doesn't mean like David Montgomery, who's going to get the ball nonstop if they can. It doesn't mean he's going to be a top 12. So you got to remember that while you're starting your studs, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be okay. So all I'm saying is I would temper expectations for Montgomery, but if you've already expected him to maybe only get the 60 yards, maybe a touchdown, then you're okay. If you're expecting a 100-yard game, I really can't see that happening. Not against the Rams.
But the guy finished, like 4th overall last year, and he had Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. So, I mean, potato, Dalton Trubisky. I mean, it's David Montgomery. He's going to get his work in. And to go back on my dropping the Gronk thing, what happened, I wouldn't have normally done that, but I don't like the 2 tight ends. And on that team, we have Austin Eckler, and Austin Eckler has a hamstring injury, so I picked up Justin Jackson just in case that hamstring wasn't holding up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that. But I did do that, and I'm willing to eat my own mistakes, and it is what it is. Trust your studs. Don't get cute. And do your best to not let your fan card get in the way, but it's okay to do it. We sat Godwin and started Deebo Samuel versus Detroit in JSR 1. No way in hell I was going to let Godwin be on Jobu's Mutts week 1. Wasn't happening.
Yeah, that was one of those ones that, like Mike J., who had Tampa Bay's defense. So let me ask a question now. Okay, fantasy-wise, because, again, I'm the fantasy virgin here. Which, you probably don't know offhand, which defense actually played better on their fantasy point-wise? Cowboys or Tampa Bay? Can you not hear
Wow,
me?
that is a great question.
Yep.
I mean, to come up with that question alone tells me that you
Stop kissing
love
my
fantasy
ass, man.
football.
No, I'm just the way it's scoring, because Cowboys got 4 takeaways. I think takeaways are big, right? And I know if you
takeaways are big, and here's the thing: Stu and I, we just talked about this on a pregame call.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay was projected by most that to be the number 2 fantasy defense this week. Dallas was projected at number 18. Okay, so middle of the road,
But
not bad,
Dallas
middle of the road.
blew
But
Tampa Bay away on it points-wise, didn't they?
But they actually were flipped. And in a lot of sites, Tampa Bay ended up with negative points.
Minus
because
three.
of the amount of points they gave up.
Uh-huh.
Or the yardage, depending on the
and not getting the takeaway.
But the lack of the turnovers, which is why they got -3 in JSR 1.
And the Cowboys got what?
And anybody that, by the way, can I real quick throw out, I can't believe I'm going back to this game because I'm
We're Cowboy fans, damn it. That's all that matters.
I know, but we got 15 other games I love. But anyways, it's opening week. I love it. So let's go back to Tampa, right?
Right.
Anybody that started Gronkowski,
oh my God,
you have balls, okay? Because we know he did all right last year.
Yeah,
but to think that he's going to do what he did against, Dallas on opening night, like he's a number one tight end. He might be the number one tight end after this week is over.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. And I even have him on a team. I tried to avoid him everywhere, but I didn't even start him. And, you kick yourself for that sort of thing.
Carolina
I didn't believe.
So Carolina Cowboys said he started Gronk, but he also started Zeke. So one hit, one miss.
Yeah, but don't panic on
Zeke.
It happens.
What's up, Terry Lee?
Oh, thank you, Terry.
All of it. To your point about Gronk, Ross, in that one league that I dropped him to pick up Justin Jackson, the guy that picked him up, had him on the bench too.
And that's the only way you get saved. I actually had Amari Cooper in a lot of leagues.
Uh-huh.
But I had Amari Cooper. My opponent had Dak and Godwin.
Oh, shit.
So the reality is, even with a great player like Gronk or anybody else,
depends on what the other guy has.
You never know what you're going to run into on any given week. I've got Ronald Jones out there in a couple leagues with -0.6.
Oh, that hurt.
-0.6.
Okay.
I might still win.
Okay.
So don't ever quit on your team.
Yeah. Oh, I'm never quit. You never say die. All right. Shout out Terry Lee. Thank you so much for that. Terry, email me at cowboysmark94@gmail.com because I want to get you a little something extra, bro. Something
Mark,
extra, okay?
Mark, if you missed it on the screen share, for your question, Tampa Bay, Dallas, for fantasy football purposes, Tampa Bay was -3, Dallas scored 4.
So we got 7 more points for Cowboys defense. That's kind of amazing if you think about it.
The turnovers.
The turnovers make all the difference. It's 2-point score on the field. Now, typically, defenses, average about 9 points a game? Is good?
Between 5 and 10 is about average.
Okay, all right.
Throughout, as the year goes along, you're going to see dips as injuries and schemes pile up. Scheme changes pile up. But then towards the end of the year, you'll see the better defenses start to score out.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. All right, so you want a ball-hawking defense is what you want.
Yep.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Or defense.
Yeah, and really, I think, if you don't mind, Stu, I think we really should stick with the ESPN because all of our listener leagues are ESPN, and the scoring is more traditional than a lot of the leagues that are out on the other sites.
Yeah,
everybody does premiums or bonuses or whatever. By the way, Stu, I'm fixing that right now. So, yeah, talking about ESPN, honestly, the running backs were the only downside to that game. And I still would not have benched Rojo or Zeke.
No, you trust your studs. You didn't draft Zeke to put him on the bench because you were worried about the Tampa Bay defense. It happened, but it's week 1. And Zeke is in probably the best shape he's been in since he came into the league. You can see if you actually watched Hard Knocks or if you actually follow the team really closely, you can see Zeke has kind of matured into get this shit together and take advantage of something special that you got here with Dak before you don't have any time left. And he's fired up, ready to go. It was 1 week. It was the Tampa Bay front
But you
seven.
could also see that Mike McCarthy digs the passing game. that this team is not the 3 yards in a cloud of dust team anymore. This team is going to light you up. Now, of course, the question will be is, can Dak Prescott's arm stay attached, throwing 50-plus times every week?
But even with a more pass-aggressive offense, what does Zeke do well out of the backfield?
Well, no, but he's like, you're still talking about the freaking Cowboys. I know.
Yeah, we do got 15 other games.
I'm going to tell you what I actually like seeing the Cowboys doing, instead of just constantly trying to pound him up the middle, is actually trying to get him the ball in space.
And
we have a question for you.
Uh-oh. What's that?
The Reaper wants to know if they want to start Tyson Williams, the second-year running back for the Ravens, or David Montgomery.
Well, considering that the Ravens have lost a whole lot of running backs and stuff, as well as wide receivers, I think you might want to go with him. Young guy, doesn't have any miles on him.
So Stu and I did talk about this one as well.
Yeah.
And not specifically David Montgomery, but Tyson Williams. He is going to have every possible opportunity to keep, and run with that job.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Latavius Murray is currently slated to be the primary backup, but they're going to work with Bell, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But if Tyson plays the way he should, talent-wise, there's no looking back.
Mm-hmm.
Like when J.K. comes back next year, they might actually just split the role.
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, his talent capabilities. Yeah, I would start him. The only reason I say start him over Montgomery is because of the Rams' defense in this case.
Right.
Plus, wait, Stu, what happens when you start a guy on Monday night?
If I have a coin flip on 2 players, I typically defer to Monday night because
you get that comeback opportunity.
Gotcha. Okay. All
if
right.
I'm losing and I got a Monday night player, I got a shot. I have hope. I could be a Cowboy.
You're telling me there's a chance. Okay. All right.
That's some food for thought there. But then when you mix in, don't get cute, trust your studs.
Whoa, Ohio State actually did lose today?
Okay.
That is awesome. I wanted to see that. Sorry, I was on the road when the game was going on. I never went back to it.
Okay, I believe Carolina, it's ESPN over the Yahoo Fantasy, at least for the Jobu Sports. All of our leagues are actually done with the ESPN thing. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question then.
I don't know that I can agree with you completely on that one. Outside of that, Monday night does have the hair on my neck tingling.
All right.
And when it comes down to trust your studs, David Montgomery finished as a top 4, top 5 running back last year.
Here's
and he had Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. But it is the Rams' defense, which is a great point.
Okay.
And we just saw what the Tampa Bay defense did with Zeke and company. So that Monday night comeback, that is tantalizing enough to where you can look at, I mean, if you're in that position where you have to start one or the other.
Okay. All right, so here, I've got a dumb question here. I know I'm going head-to-head against DMV, and he's got Lamar Jackson. So, Lamar Jackson, who is not the greatest of passing quarterbacks, is definitely better suited to run the football as well, and that offense is a big running offense. With the wide receivers going down and the running backs going down, do you look for him to have more yards because it's going to be more on his back, or you look at it and say he doesn't have any weapons to get the ball to? He's looking like a mad scientist over here. Okay.
Please, Stu, enlighten us.
Okay.
Look at that shitty grin on his face. I'm going to say what Corey's probably going to get at. Lamar Jackson is actually a better passer than he gets credit for.
Yes.
It sucks that Rashad Bateman's out, but they do have some more receiving options for him in there this year.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really consider Sammy Watkins for fantasy, but Sammy is a guy that'll draw some coverage. They've got, is it Tillian Wallace that they got in there? Mark Andrews they got up in there. They still got Marquise, don't say Hollywood anymore, Brown. He will be more involved by default, but what Roz was saying with Tyson Williams, It's a very run-heavy offense. And if, the word being if, Tyson Williams, when they get the game flow going, is doing what Ross believes his talent output could be, then, damn, I'm still stuck on Montgomery Williams because, Mark, we've got that problem in JSR1. What do you want to do? You want to go with Williams, right?
I defer to you.
Well, we'll go undecided there.
Why do you
go
look like the evil villain here in every Bond movie right now? Look at him.
Oh, I know, right? He doesn't even need the clown mask. It's just there.
It's like
ahead,
$1 million.
Eat it up.
If I were to start with, I mean, it's funny we're starting with the Monday night, but it's a reality. It's a big game. First, we have the West Coast to East Coast. We didn't think or East Coast to West Coast. We don't think it's going to matter. So let's take it out of the equation. What happens next? Now we got a quarterback thing. Derek Carr has some weapons, but Lamar Jackson, 2 years ago, was the passing leader. Yeah, that's right. Passing leader of the NFL. And he has a baseline floor of 30 to 40 games, or 30 to 40 yards per game. So that's 3 or 4 points per game, right? Which, if you just want to make comparison, everybody wants Deshaun Watson. Well, guess what? Deshaun Watson is almost to 40 yards a game at his peak, okay? At his peak. So Lamar Jackson has a floor of points, plus he's got the passing opportunity. Then we're going to go, okay, weapons.
Hang on. Hold on for a second. I got to help the doggy.
So he's helping. I'm going to answer that. He's got weapons. Weapons like Marquise Brown, who had a touchdown per game for 6 games or 8 games last season to end out. We know that kind of efficiency doesn't last forever. But I actually bought Marquise Brown in nearly every dynasty I could because, A, he's cheap. Nobody thinks he's coming. Now we got Rashad Bateman and Tyler Wallace. Oh, wait a minute. We got Tylan Wallace. Tylan Wallace was expected to be a second-round pick. So now Rashad Bateman's out. The first-round pick is gone, but you have Marquise Brown, who's been there with Jackson. You got Mark Andrews, and now you got Tylan Wallace, who was drafted late, but was projected as a second-round pick, and there were so many wide receivers he was passed over. So he was the passing leader with none of these weapons.
All right.
And now you got these weapons against a Raiders secondary that couldn't play their way out of a paper bag.
Right.
Now, I will be honest, I'm impressed with some of those IDP guys for scoring points, but we get IDP points every time they get thrown at or they make a tackle or things like that. And guess what? If you're tackling a guy, he caught the ball. They're moving the ball. So on the fantasy side of the house, I fully expect Lamar Jackson to, get near Brady, Dak Prescott scoring. Now it's going to be a little hard because they threw a lot of touchdowns. I don't think he's going to get that many, but let's say he runs one in. Then we can account for 1 there and 2 in the air, 1 there, 2 in the air. Like, don't freak on Zeke. My point is, I actually have to choose between Jalen Hurts in a high-scoring projected affair or Lamar Jackson, and I have to take Lamar Jackson because I cannot see a way for him to fail.
Okay.
And I love it, too, because when we talk about Tyson Williams, just like Tylan Wallace should have been more second round than first, but just like Tylan Wallace should have been a second-round pick, Tyson Williams' profile before he injured his knee in the last year of college, he was a first-round projected running back. Okay? He jumped around at schools so people weren't paying attention, but if you dig into his profile and his play and his film, that's who he was. Trey Sermon, really did almost the same thing, and we're gaga over him in Shanahan's offense because he's running. But, he's had a couple knee injuries too. Actually, a couple versus one with Tyson. Tyson's in just as good of a running offense, if not better, than Shanahan's because he doesn't have to share the ball. So all I'm saying is I see fantasy goodness on Monday Night Football. This is the game I actually want to see above all.
I just bumped Tyson Williams up into our flex in JSR3 and put Yuck on the bench.
Who'd you put on the bench?
Yuck.
Oh, well, see, now I don't. I mean,
in Detroit. I'm going to go back. Well, I can't. Zeke already played.
Dude, that's a hell of a choice to have. I honestly, I wouldn't even want to make that choice.
I don't. I'm JSR1. I'm stuck between Monty and Williams. I've been talking up Jerry Jeudy all offseason. Part of me wants to go Williams instead of Jeudy in that flex, but I trust your studs, trust your gut. It's week 1, and I've been beating the Jeudy drum all offseason, so I can't do that.
So, Mark, I did this on TikTok, but I really want to do it on your channel, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Go on. I think I've mentioned it in a past chatter, maybe during a fantasy draft. 4-week pieces. Stu just said it. It's week 1. What we don't know right now is everything. We don't know shit. Okay? We know what is projected. We know what Vegas thinks, and Vegas is usually wrong. They're already wrong on the first game of the week.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So they were wrong by an entire touchdown. So we've got week 1. We got all this data. We've spent, just like teams, we've spent an entire offseason prepping for this. We don't know anything. So then week 2, we get a little bit clearer picture. How much does it match week 1? Week 3 and week 4 is when you actually start to win your league. Okay. Week 1 and 2, I don't care if I win or lose. Because what I'm finding out is how those players really play and how they're really used in their scheme, whether or not they're worth keeping.
Well, that makes sense because like I always say, I tell people, never get too excited or too upset by what you see the month of September because you really don't know what teams are until about October.
Which is what makes you a perfect fantasy source.
Oh, stop it. Stop. Stop.
All fantasy football is, Mark, is football applied to a game. You're just transferring what you think about the game coming up to a computer screen.
I give you points for everything you know, Mark, and you're playing fantasy.
It's still something so wrong because I'm telling you, it's ruined actually regular football.
I'm trying to meet you halfway. I'm there with you. Just like our Cowboy fan base, there is a faction of that fan base that you and I also drives us nuts. And they're the reason people that hate the Cowboys talk shit about our fans because of fans like those fans.
Yeah.
Same fantasy football. Half of us watch the games. Half of us love the game. The other half don't know what the fuck they're talking about, don't watch many games. And they're the ones that want to trade guys to other teams and think they can show up on Saturday, play a game on Sunday like nothing ever happened and they know everything. No.
The funny thing
a lot of us don't like that either. So it's real football fantasy fault. It's the same thing, only the game version versus the real version.
You know, very, very rarely do you end up having trades like the Herschel Walker one where, you know, it ends up being right. It's more times than not when you make trades, they end up being like the Roy Williams or Joey Galloway's. You know, for every good trade, there's got to be 10 of them that you just like, you look back at and it's just like, damn, we got screwed on that one.
Joey Galloway, Roy Williams.
Oh, my God. I mean, you know, we've made out with Amari Cooper, but, you know, we've made some trades that literally have blown up in our face, and it's kind of like...
But even when we got Cooper, there was people thinking we got fleeced.
You mean like the Raiders? The Raiders are like, hey, we got rid of that mother humper, man, and we got...
that's working great, but he's the exception to the rule.
Oh, man. Yeah, that definitely got hosed on that one, quite frankly. But the Raiders, you know, to me, that's fantasy football run at an NFL on an NFL team. And it ain't working. It ain't working, the crap that they're doing.
Yep. I'm going to pull up. I'm not going to do all 5 of our matchups. I'm just going to pull up week one with DMB.
Troy, you took my quarterback, man. I'm mad at you, Troy. I ain't talking to you no more, Troy. Damn it. You know I'm supposed to have Dak Prescott. You know I'm supposed to. You want to trade? You want to trade, Troy? I trade you for Dak. How about I give you a Carson Wentz for a Dak Prescott?
Oh, Lord. That's not going to happen.
No? Who is our quarterback in that league?
Kyler Murray. I know he talks shit about us, but I've seen Kyler Murray play high school football at our stadium. It was the first time I went to that stadium with my sister and my brother-in-law, and you could tell in high school that kid was going to be in the league, even though he was like 4'0".
He's still 4'0".
He went to Allen High School. My sister teaches in the Allen school district, so he's from right up the road from me. So plus for fantasy football purposes, kind of like Jalen Hurts, only better. He's got that elite rushing upside to go along with the passing work. So that's why we went with him.
Okay.
Ross, how do you want to get us through the rest of the week? You want to pull up a list of game by game and highlight a few players? Since there doesn't
I
appear
like
to be
that.
many.
You ain't worth 2 cents. 2 cents.
No, we'll be here all day if we really go game by game. I think the best opportunity is, I'll call out a game, and if we have some superstar you want to talk about. Otherwise, it's week one. You go with, especially with like ESPN or Yahoo, go with your projected points. If you're not running, I have leagues that run 55, 22 starters, 11 defense, 11 offense. If you're not running that kind of league, go with your projections that are on the site. Get yourself through week one and just enjoy the games.
Team Cole.
Have fun.
Hold it. Team Cole up here that you have. He's got 75 points already.
If my computer wasn't such a POS, he probably had most of his team run. I can't switch over to him. My computer's okay. ESPN. I was talking to Ross about this the other day. I don't know what it is about ESPN. I can pull up any other fantasy app on my computer, and I'm good. ESPN just slows me down. I don't know why.
But yeah, so 75 points. That's pretty good for one night, huh?
Yeah, but let me see. Oh, that's Team Colt.
Yeah.
75 points. That had to have been your boy MJ, I would imagine. Isn't MJ? Let's see who he had up.
Wait, I'm sorry. Was that Deontay Cole who spent the entire time looking like he was going to eat somebody?
There you go. Deontay Cole. That's who that was.
Because you remember during that draft, he sat there quiet, staring into the screen like he was about to jump through it and,
75 points. That's a great start.
Just like Philly 500 did. Yeah, he probably had Brady and Antonio Brown.
Please let me kick Philly 500's ass. Please.
We ain't play him in week one.
Huh? Say what?
Oh,
no, I mean, I just hope he just. Please.
Yeah, Amari Cooper. There you go, Cole. Amari Cooper and Antonio Brown doing the legwork there. Got 10 out of Fournette. Amari Cooper with the 13-catch day had 38.9 fantasy points.
Damn.
Compared to Antonio Brown, who also had a good game.
Okay. He's got Trevor Lawrence for a quarterback, huh? Interesting.
So,
okay.
Do we have any questions out there? Anybody have any lineup questions? I know we went through Tyson Williams, Montgomery.
No, Troy. You broke. You broke rule number 1 of Fight Club. You never talk about Fight Club, man. You took Dak away from me, man. You took my Dak. All right. Okay. I ain't mad at you. I just don't like you anymore. No, I'm kidding. We kid because we love. All right. So, questions, fantasy football wise. If Dak does make it to the Super Bowl, he's still suspect. Y'all all bluefinning. Okay. What? You know what? You need to pay me 2 cents, man, for comments that are stupid as that. Good God. Where do these guys come from?
Goes back to what I said earlier. Dak could win Comeback Player of the Year.
Which
MVP,
I think he already has. Let's be clear.
And it would still be Dak sucks from those types of people.
Let's be clear. I think pretty much he's locked that one up. Okay?
Look, I don't want to I don't want to be the downer on a Cowboys show and all that stuff right there.
Yes,
but
you do.
You're just letting 2 cents keep taking you away from the fantasy and back to the Thursday night. I mean, I'm just saying you're letting, you don't want to let 2 cents control the show, right?
Well, but it's going back to the Cowboys, so is that really a bad thing?
He says something about sack. Did somebody sack
I have
Dak
to wait
sack?
for a team to declare a player going on RI before I move them there. Say what? Okay, you got that? Oh,
Troy already said if the player is out or injured on the website, you'll see a little red thing. You can move them. Go to your team, hit edit lineup. If you can move them to IR, it will tell you that. Otherwise, no.
If you're on a computer, you got to go to your team, and it'll say something about modify IR or something like that. On the app, it's just edit roster, and you can move it. But if they're on IR or out, you should be able to put them on that IR list and go pick somebody else.
Right. If they're not eligible for IR, the system will not allow you to move.
Hold on 1 second here. I'm gonna have to answer this mother humper. He's taking me back. Is that Johnny Boy 26? Johnny Boy, who says Dak got most of his yards because of the Bucs secondary. He got 403 yards, 3 TDs, a 101 rating, right? Right? Against Tampa Bay. Guess what? Pat Mahomes played that same one. Do you know what Pat Mahomes got there, bro? Do you know what Pat Mahomes got there? Huh? Do you? Huh? He played that same one, only got 270 yards. Only a 53% completion and a 5.5 yard average with a rating of 52.3 and a QBR of 42.2. Played the same defense. Remember what Tampa Bay said. We bringing back all our starters. We bringing back our whole team, Johnny Boy. You explain it to me, Johnny Boy. Same secondary, Pat Mahomes. His his rating was half of Dak Prescott's.
No, Troy, you cannot move a player once he plays.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so
let me just rewrite.
Michael Gallup, same thing. I've got him in a couple of leagues. Tuesday morning, 3 a.m., ESPN will unlock him. Then you can move him to your injured reserve.
Okay.
And I think Stu just blew up his computer again.
Yeah, we're going to have to get him another one. Oh, my God. Pat Mahomes is playing against 4 backup linemen, plus the Bucs were doubling. Oh, my God.
Look, I didn't want to say it earlier when you were on your tirade, but that's the truth.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Well, we had Zach Martin out. We had Lyle Collins on who knows what. Right? We had Tyler Badish, who looked bad-ish, okay? Bad-ish, okay? Still, nothing. Okay.
I'm waiting for them to answer you. Stu is texting me about his computer problems.
Okay. The thing that's always funny is no matter what happens, everybody's always going to have an excuse why Dak Prescott. Yeah, he got a whole bunch of yards, but it was because the secondary for them was bad. Okay, well, you know what? Here's what's kind of interesting. If we want to go there like that, okay? Since the Dallas Cowboys had a great offensive line and stuff, you know that Tampa Bay Kansas City actually rushed for almost 100 yards in that game. So as bad as that offensive line was, they were actually opening up more holes than what the Dallas Cowboys offensive line was. Just saying. So they were able to run the football, but yet Pat Mahomes was still 133 yards less. Pat Mahomes was 20 completion percent less than Dak Prescott. Explain that one then. Roz?
I never compare a Super Bowl. So, while I'm trolling you along with the trolls, I never utilize playoffs or Super Bowl for comparison. Now, I understand because they brought back all 22 starters. It's the same team. That in this case, it's something that we should consider. But because I don't do it, I haven't actually analyzed what KC did. What I do know that KC did wrong is KC did not utilize anyone but Kelsey and Tyreek. So first mistake was Mahomes tried to get too cute and use his super weapons and forgot about the entire rest of the damn team. So forget about the offensive line. He forgot about the rest of his daggone team.
But he's the greatest quarterback in the history of football. How could he forget that? I mean, that's something.
How is he the greatest? Everybody said Brady's the GOAT. I mean, we know Dan Marino's the GOAT, but everybody calling Brady the GOAT.
But I don't know. They say he's the best quarterback in football. I'm just saying that the best quarterback in football, they only put up 9 points. And it wasn't that, he was out there by himself. It wasn't like he didn't have some weapons. Okay? I'm just saying. When people say that Dak did what, he didn't score enough touchdowns. That Dak, it was garbage time.
Right. Okay. So let me help you out here, right?
I could literally say that game was garbage time for Kansas City. Then how come he didn't get a whole bunch of yards late in the game and a whole bunch of G points?
So what I can help you out with to simplify this, Dallas played a hell of a game.
Yes.
Dallas should have won the game.
Yes.
I'm glad Dallas didn't win the game.
It may end up being better. I'm going to tell you this. It may actually be better that might have been the best outcome for the Dallas Cowboys as far as going forward. For
Dallas to not beat the Super Bowl champions, but to go toe-to-toe, you learn more from a loss than a win, and you now know that you have what it takes to win the Super Bowl, but you don't have the cocky assness.
That's the key right there. Because if you win that game,
my parlay had Tampa Bay to win straight up.
Right. And see, that's the thing. If you won that game, all of a sudden everybody's got the expectation you're you're going to the Super Bowl. And then your players start believing that shit. That's enough that was like, damn, we're close, man. If we'd just done this, this, and this, you stay hungrier. Had you gotten blown out, then it's like, damn, we can't compete with these mother humpers. So it's all psyche. It's really all psyche. Yeah, we're glad you're back there, buddy.
The silver lining to that game, like I was saying earlier, was that just like Ross said, we know we can go toe-to-toe, but we also know we got a lot of work to do.
That's right. So you stay hungry.
But that's why any given Sunday, that's why you got to play the game.
Johnny Boy 26, love all the footballers family. Amen on that one. Appreciate you, bro. And, by the way, when I go off, Johnny Boy, okay, don't take it personal. I'm a grumpy old man, okay? Grumpy old man. All right. Anyway, any other fantasy?
And I do want to say before I don't know how long you want to run this fantasy today, but I do want to point out a couple things people might be facing.
Okay, we got.
We already talked about the Tyson versus Montgomery thing.
Okay, we're gonna go until 5 o'clock because I still have to get set up for tomorrow.
All right, and we broke Stu's computer already.
That's right.
So real quick, you might be in a situation where you're questioning, your quarterback because in a lot of home leagues and a lot of the learner leagues, you have multiple quarterbacks.
Right.
Okay. Rookie quarterbacks struggle.
True.
Try to avoid rookie quarterbacks if possible. Now, that said, if you're faced, like I am in one league, Trevor Lawrence versus Joe Burrow, Minnesota's going to eat Cincinnati alive. I don't trust any of the Bengals, so I'm starting a rookie quarterback. But if you're not in that situation, try to avoid your rookie quarterbacks. On the flip side, if you need a flex secret, like one of those sneaky plays, put Javonte Williams in the game. Rookie quarterbacks. I lost my notes, Mark. I'm sorry. I went looking for them. I can't find them. But rookie running backs. Since 2015, 19 rookie running backs. Shout out to Amarante on this. 19 rookie running backs have gotten 20-plus carries in their first game of the year. Okay? 14 of those were first-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Javonte is the only rookie running back I'm trusting this week. The only one. So, Najee, sorry. Have a nice day. I expect you to be kind of, I don't know, David Montgomery. Javonte, that's my secret tip of the week. Besides Baltimore. Play your daggone Monday Night Football, people.
Okay. I heard that. Okay. All right. And we're going to avoid the 2 cents, okay? Questions. Dak played excellent on Thursday night. The Chiefs won the first game during the season, and any given Sunday, it's a different game. You are 100% right on that one. On any given Sunday, anybody could win or lose. All right, so since we're not talking about too many fantasy questions, I want to talk about the Giants versus Denver. What do you think about that? Why are you dropping your head on that one, Ross?
It's steady Bridgewater. Look, I have 2 epic failures that can happen this year. 1, Marquise Brown doesn't show up. 2,
okay.
Drew Lock already failed. Okay? So Denver, as long as Teddy Bridgewater can get the ball to the receivers.
Yeah.
Jerry Judy, Portland Sutton.
Yeah. Noah Fant, Albert O. I don't really care. Get KJ Hamler. As long as he can get it out, they're going to smoke New York. I mean, New York right now, and that's why I wish I had my stats, but the Vegas, I just have it here, but Vegas has what they call big win, little wins.
Big win, little win. Okay, I like that.
So big wins, little wins are when you can actually lay a wager on whether or not a team is going to win by 2 or more touchdowns or lose by 2 or more touchdowns. You can bet either or. Okay? Denver is plus 289. All right, now plus 289 in Vegas terms, anything under 300 means there's a likelihood or a possibility above 40%. So now we're getting into the 50, 60%.
So Vegas,
you get under 200, and now you might want to play everybody on that team because they get an extra 2 touchdowns. But in this case, what I'm saying is Vegas is even looking at Denver and saying, hey, they get 1 defensive touchdown or major turnover, and they're going to blow the game wide open.
Oh, the Denver
So the Giants, they just done.
A Denver defense with Bradley Chubb and Von Miller back now, going up against Danny Pesos. The best player on their offense is Barkley, and he's coming off of injury. Is he 100%
right?
And Evan Ingram is out.
And they don't have an offensive line to block for Barkley worth the shit either. So have fun with that.
What you're saying is we're going to see Rashid crying tomorrow.
Against the Broncos.
Okay.
Even with Teddy Bridgewater, the game manager.
All right. Go on.
Well, I was just thinking.
Uh-oh.
This is one of those instances of start your stud, even against a monster defense. Right? This is not David Montgomery against the Rams. This is Barkley, who won people leagues even after an injury.
Yeah.
He might get the rushes. He might get the passing, the quick, short passing, screens, anything that they can pray to get done against Denver might end up being Barkley. Now, you might not trust anybody on the Giants at all, but Barkley might be, well, regardless. Barkley, you don't sit, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
You drafted him to start and you started.
Right. This is one of those instances where, yes, the Giants are going to be crying. I mean, some of them might not want to go back in the game. Kenny Golladay and Evan Ingram already don't want to play.
Damn. Okay. All right. How about the...
Haven't guys retired from there or left there to retire? Or
Joe Looney that was there for, what,
Looney
day, 2 days?
Came in for a couple of days and was like, man, this place is ass. I'm out of here.
Right. That's why I put them. They're number 4 in the division. You know, I mean, the only one next to them is Washington. So,
All right, so the Eagles versus the Falcons.
That's going to be, in my opinion, awesome for fantasy football. I expect it to go the over and be a shootout because neither team is going to try to play defensive back. Okay. They might have a good defensive line or maybe a couple of linebacker plays, but the defensive backfield on both of them is ass.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be shocked to see people throwing all day on both sides of the ball. And doesn't matter what Jalen Hurts can or can't do, his receivers can get it.
Okay. And Washington versus the Chargers.
Stu, I don't mean to be stepping all over you on these, but I know you're messing with your computer right now.
I'm letting you roll with this because people know what I'm going to say about these games this week. So go ahead. You're the unbiased one.
Yep.
And
but look, Vegas, the football guys, the Wolf, and the Jobu all took the Chargers to win. I'm the only one that went lone wolf on Washington. But I'm doing that because I honestly believe that awesome defense you see out of the Chargers front, Washington's is better. And I don't see Herbert doing much but running for his life. It doesn't mean they're going to lose. Like, I think Washington wins, but it really is a pick 'em right now. I just believe Washington's defensive front is hard enough to threaten them. Austin Eckler is going to play.
Yeah.
We don't know how healthy he really is. Their backups right now, average.
If you have Austin Eckler, go pick up Justin Jackson just in case. Don't wait till next week. If Eckler re-injures that hamstring and he doesn't play week 2, don't let somebody else have him.
Don't forget, he spent the entire year out last year. And that's the other thing. You've got Eckler coming back after a lost year. Like, we're talking about Barkley, who is a generational talent.
Right.
But then you've got Austin Eckler, and nobody's worried about the fact that he just spent all of last year not playing, and now he's coming in. First week, he's going east to west, 1 o'clock game, west to east. Why do I get that backwards?
And
a 1 o'clock game against a Washington defense that's ready to eat him alive with Jamin Davis, the rookie.
Right. Mark, we will be starting at 12:45 live streaming through the 1 o'clock games and then through the 4 o'clock games. So we'll be actually watching the Washington versus the Chargers, the Eagles game. We'll have these guys chiming in from time to time on fantasy updates. And, we're going to be doing it all. But don't choke over there.
I'm sorry. I almost threw up. I saw somebody said in the chat, Tony going to burn the Broncos. Kadarius Tony.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Mark, in fantasy terms, while you're learning it, and some of our newer players, when you get a guy like a Tony Pollard, who's Zeke's backup, you call that a handcuff. You don't want to fill your bench with too many handcuffs, but if you've got a running back like an Austin Eckler that's prone to injury, you want to go out and get that handcuff, which would be Justin Jackson, Alexander Madison to a Dalvin Cook, Tony Pollard. Not that we expect Zeke to get hurt, but just in case, you want to. If you have Zeke, you really want to get Pollard because he can take over and not really lose a beat.
Gotcha.
That's called a handcuff.
All right, so we're going to get ready to get out of here because I've got to go to the store. I got to put up together that box over there for an extra heater. And Stu, you're coming back in? You're here. Okay.
I know we were leaving, but my bad.
Okay.
Let me back here.
Well, I was going to give you guys the final word. If you can, Brother Roz, tell people about your TikTok and where to find you.
Well, I am brother_FF on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I support the industry there, and that's where I communicate with a lot of people. But my FF Brother Roz on TikTok is where I'm throwing up all the Jobu information.
Literally throwing up.
I'm now starting to edit Mark's videos to play around with that. Did you like that last one I did, by the way, with your head spinning? It must be a miracle.
I missed that one. Actually, I should send you what happened. When I was setting up here, I've got steps that go up to the top level of the deck here, and my wife comes running out screaming. She's like, "Mark, I need you, Val. I need you now. I need you now." And I've grabbed my phone and I said, "Uh-oh, matrimonial duties here." And I go running up the steps there, and it turns out she had bought a plant. You know, we went to Lowe's and she bought a plant, and this little teeny baby frog was in the plant. So she put the plant in the sink and stuff. This little frog jumped out, and she sees this little baby frog, and she put a jar on top of it, and she's like, "You need to do something with that." And so I recorded the whole thing. It was like, you know, I'm going up steps. Uh-oh, matrimonial duties. And here it is. I got a frog.
Definitely get me that video. Hey, look.
Yeah.
We're going to try. I'm trying to stay real. You know, Stu and I are just here having fun talking about what we do. But I'm going to try and be a little bit more creative and professional on the videos now.
Yeah.
Now that I have the proper editing software, we can literally do anything you'd like. Okay. So we're going to start having some fun on TikTok with those.
Cool.
I'm going to put most of them on the JSR Fantasy, but there's going to be a lot on the FF Brother Roz, which is just me.
Jazz wants to know my predictions for the Eagles versus Falcons. It's going to be an ugly game, but I'm going to take the home team, the Falcons, because I just can never pick the Eagles. I just can't. Chargers versus No Name. I'm taking the Chargers, even though Washington is, you know, at home. I just can't, you know, consciously pick them. Giants versus Denver. Okay, you see the narrative here. I'm going with everybody playing against them, but I think Denver eats up Daniel Jones. That offensive line stinks. Barkley's coming back from injury. You don't know how good he really is, and you know they've got Jason Garrett.
Hey, we're still tied for first if everybody else loses, right?
Yeah, and that's a possibility, which of course will have everybody talking about the NFC least, blah 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 blah. You know.
So for my final words, Stu, let me just close out with Mark. We did a Wednesday pick show.
Yes.
So I want everybody to really just dial in and enjoy the games. Forget about, you know, everything else. Enjoy this kickoff weekend. But we did that Wednesday. We need to be back doing Wednesday because we beat the three of us, each of us individually.
Yeah, we all picked Dallas, didn't we?
Both fantasy football guys and Vegas.
We all picked Dallas, didn't we?
No, I picked Tampa, but I didn't use the spread.
We had the spread on ours.
Yeah, we had the
spread. You had the spread. I picked the straight up, and all three of us won.
Okay. All right.
We're good at this. At least once.
We're all batting 1,000 so far.
For me,
but
real quick,
tomorrow could end up being a lot worse. We'll see. Okay.
For my final word of the weekend, I just want to reiterate what Roz is saying. Have fun, enjoy the games, and let's get ready for next week. But on a personal note, real quick, I run a nonprofit called Dream to Walk.
Amen.
And you can find us on YouTube. The Dream to Walk Foundation is Dream, the number 2, Walk Foundation, or Facebook, or even Twitter. But on September 23rd is North Texas Giving Day. It's an all-day online fundraiser, and every quote-unquote unique donation every hour, any donation $25 or more every hour qualifies us for cash prizes ranging from $1,000 to $2,000 on that day. And it's all nonprofits in the North Texas area just coming together, raising awareness for what they do. September 23rd, North Texas Giving Day.
All right. And with that being said, appreciate everybody coming in to watch the show. We've actually had a ball here. We'll be doing this every Saturday, so if you have questions on fantasy football, definitely come in. You can join our Discord channel, of course, which you can also ask questions at any point in there and get those answers as well. And tomorrow we will start live streaming at 12:45. Going through the games, we'll be giving you kind of fantasy updates throughout the day, and we'll be watching the Washington versus the Chargers. We'll be watching the Giants versus, of course, Denver, and we'll be finishing it up with the Giants versus Denver is the late game. The Eagles versus the Falcons will also be at 1 o'clock. So we're going to take good care of you guys. We appreciate that. And with that being said, it's time to turn out the lights. This party's over.
The lights. the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.